hour of Plymouth and Canton's hit music. We are 88.1 The Park.
Greetings, it's Thursday night, and welcome back to The Scene here on 88.1 The Park, your place for Plymouth and Canton's hit music. But on the evenings of The Scene, it's more than hit music. It's the best of the best in local music, specifically those amazing artists that come from the three high schools known as PCEP. School is out for summer, and doesn't it feel good? Well, not to me, because I got to work, but to all of you students out there, it must feel very good to have the summer months here, especially on blazing hot days like today. Hopefully everyone is having a good start to the summer. So while the schools are closed and pretty quiet places, just like here at Salem High School, In the Band is very, very busy, especially with our brand new stage, which we christened most recently on June 16th with our very first show in the studio on our new stage. Zoe Sturritt, very appropriately, was the first artist to play the first song on that stage, kicking off an evening where we had the Doozers, Junior High Cheer Squad, and Hilltop Drive. I can't think of a better combination of bands to break in that stage, and it was a terrific night. The house was packed. It was a little bit warm, I would say, in the studio. For anyone who was there knows exactly what I'm talking about, but rock and roll is all about, being hot and all that kind of stuff. So it was a spectacular evening. We will have many, many shows lined up throughout this summer. Stay tuned to our website, inthebandstudio.com. Follow us on social media to find out all the great things that are going to happen on that stage, because we are going to have a packed summer with lots of great artists, including our in-studio guests tonight, Read the Sun, who will be joining us. We are so pumped to have them. 3 guys here tonight, but really 4 members who are such a part of the In the Band family. Speaking of the In the Band family, Sam the intern in the house tonight. Hello, Sam. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. Sam joining us for the summer. She's done such a good job of helping us out with some promotion stuff, and she's working on a promo video and all sorts of cool stuff. So good to have Sam the intern in the house here helping us out, and she will be around all summer at our events. So speaking of our events, July 8th is the next evening that In the Band will be open for business. We have a rather popular touring band called Sink In coming in, but they will be joined by Paper Crowns, Marquette Winston, and Me and the Dog. This will be a rare chance to see Me and the Dog as a solo artist. So Keegan will come in just with his acoustic guitar and do his thing kind of old school style. And so that will be on July 8th, which is a Sunday night. We ask that everybody come out and check it out. It should be a fun evening. So that's what we got cooking In the Band. What we got cooking here tonight on The Scene is the best of the best in local music. We'll hear from Me and the Dog. We'll hear from Zoe Sturritt. We'll hear from Hilltop Drive. And like I said, we got Read the Sun in the house to play some songs and tell us more about the formation of this great, great band that we're lucky to have as part of In the Band family. Speaking of the In the Band family, let's kick it off with one of our favorite bands, those creatures that appeared on ITB2. Here is Waves from the great Michigan Left on The Scene on 88.1 The Park.
young lovers wouldn't let go. Bells they rang as she came in. Beauty in full bloom. Smile mastered through my glance. Name I never knew. Oh, oh.
Hi, I'm Miley. I got at Isbister Elementary, and you're listening to 88.1 The Park, Plymouth and Canton's hit music.
My hair is much longer than before. And I swear that I've changed too, but not for you, and not for you. gotta grow up, embrace myself, grow up, embrace the help that I've been given to love myself the way I want to. Grow up, embrace myself. Grow up, embrace the help that I've been given to love myself the way I want to.
I didn't quite get that from Me and the Dog. As everyone knows, that's a favorite here on the scene. Keegan Weaver, one of our favorites, of course. Before that, we heard Waves from Michigan Left. Those guys just put out a full length, which should be available on all your digital outlets. And hopefully we get Michigan Left back at one of our shows pretty soon, because I'd love to check out more songs off that album and hear from those guys again. But let's hear from some guys that mean a lot in the band. They've been around. A few of them are in Paper Crowns. For a while, I called this band Paper Crowns minus Abby, but it's really way more than that. And so we are thrilled to have Reese, John, and Sean from Read the Sun here tonight. Welcome, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for having us.
We're missing your drummer, Joe Jankowski.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but
I remember when Sean was last in, I think is when we had Cup in, and Joe couldn't make it that night either.
That's what you should expect with Joe.
Those are
Maybe Joe just doesn't like us.
nah,
You know?
it's okay.
I think he likes us. But it's great to have Read the Sun here tonight. I think there were high expectations for this band just based on the group of guys that came together to form it. And when you guys played on May 11th, I just kept using the word impressive. I think it's just a great combination of musicians that seem to be aligned and kind of all have a shared vision. So,
Thank you.
Well, thank
the,
you so much.
the other thing that aligns you, I was telling you guys when we walked in that this is the first night where all three of the guys in the studio tonight are my former students.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
7th grade.
Seventh
grade.
grade, 8th grade, Discovery Middle School.
Also
So
7th grade, so all the same year. Too.
I can only take full credit for the band then. That's all I can say. I mean,
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
don't you think? All
Absolutely.
that music that we played in Language
You
Arts and
showed me
Systems.
David Bowie.
I did.
You
introduce you to
introduced
David.
me to Wonderwall.
I most certainly did. You're right. You're right. A few weeks back, I found out that Reese is a huge Brian Eno fan, and I was like, "Oh, I did something right as a teacher." I'm sure you discovered Brian Eno from somebody else, but I still wanted to take the credit. So it's very cool to have you guys here tonight. It was just a few short years ago that you walked into my classroom, and now you're here as a band. So tell me about the beginnings of Read the Sun, and certainly it must be somewhat connected to being part of Paper Crowns, and I'm sure at some point the thought was, let's try something else. So tell me a little bit about how the band formed.
Actually, kind of the opposite. Reese and I had started jamming under just like without a name, probably as far back as September, October, before I played with Paper Crowns. And then Sean started playing, and we were debating drummers because Joe's busy schedule, but we ultimately decided, like, we're really good friends with Joe. He's good at what he does, and it's really worked out for us so far. But
Was there a thought in terms of the style that you wanted to go for? Because you've all done other projects. Was there a feeling of we want to try something different? Because your style is something that is vacant in the scene. It's sort of this dream pop shoegazy thing that's very cool, but it's unique. And so tell me about how that developed.
I feel like when we've all started jamming, we all had a similar idea of the sound that we wanted. Like, we never really specifically said what the sound we wanted was. We just more made music, and it always got the sound that we enjoyed, and we kept doing it.
And Reese, did you always want to have I know you did some work with as Starhead, just solo work. Was leading a band, or at least being the vocalist, was something that you always had ambitions for, or did that just sort of happen?
Absolutely. I think from day one of learning how to sing and play guitar, I packed a little knapsack and wanted to travel to New York to make a living out of it. But definitely, I think coming from Paper Crowns, being a guitarist, and then I thought of the idea of leading it and being a singer, and I thought that was an interesting step that I could take with this
And did you bring songs to the table and then the band kind of develop those, or do you guys truly write together as a band, or what's your process?
It was pretty much all written together. I think our only first one, Havenwick, was something that I brought a little bit of, but then we formed it together as a band. So I kind of just had the structure and then we shaped it.
And we're going to hear Havenwick when you guys do your performance, which we really look forward to. So it just seems like, is it fair to say the whole thing's been very natural? Even on stage together, you're a very comfortable band. I think it was your second show or your third show, and it really didn't seem like it. It seemed like you guys have been doing this a while. Has the whole thing been pretty natural?
Absolutely. I think from even just like the first performance, we have all had experience before with other groups, and I think that there was just some sort of chemistry between us that just had us all click.
It's kind of become a space where each of us get to pursue things artistically that we haven't got to. Like, I've been playing bass guitar for a long time, pretty much exclusively since I've started playing with other people. So this is an opportunity for me to play guitar. It's an opportunity for Reese to sing. This is an opportunity for all of us to write songs that are creative and kind of push ourselves and each other.
It does seem pretty free. It seems like everyone kind of gets to express yourself the way you want. And that's cool in a band. And I think that's, coming from other bands, it probably your experiences previously have helped shape the chemistry behind this band, I would guess.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're going to hear some stuff acoustic. I know that Electric, the show, the show's pretty high energy too. I mean, it's not, there's certainly space in your music, but I was impressed with, the crowd engagement was really strong on May 11th.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was actually the first time that we played when Keegan has this great light box, and at the last song, at the last jam, John was pointing to me and was like, "Hey, step on that," and I was like, "All right, whatever, I'll step on it," but nothing activated, and so I'm like, "Well, I think he's just pointing me to go out into the crowd," so I went out and just played out into the crowd, and I did that again on May 11th, and I think that's just become a staple thing that I like to do now.
It was cool. It was the first time we've seen that at one of our shows. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, but I think we all have a sort of audience engagement that we want to explore further.
And an audience that wants to see what you guys are up to, for sure. I mean, you had a good placement in the roster that night, but there was a lot of people in that room to see you guys. I mean, I think there's intrigue with wanting to see this new project, which is great. So speaking of all that, let's hear a song. So this will be the acoustic version of Read the Sun. We're going to hear Havenwick. When you sent me your song titles, I was just intrigued by, what each word represents. So Reese, just at least tell us about this title. What does it mean?
So during a really dark period of my life, I went to Havenwick for when I was really depressed. And so that was like a recovery place. And at that point, I was really pretty much done with everything. But I gathered a lot of really good information on how to deal with what I deal with there. And one of the cool things was there was a guy there that I really liked just as a friend. And I thought that he was very cool, and having just him be at least a glimpse of hope, just be something to look forward to. And I kept using that sort of motto throughout my life now. And so it's always just looking up to the next thing. So that's what it's about.
And using music, right?
Absolutely,
I know that's been huge for you, and that's awesome. So let's check in now. Read the Sun. Here's Reese, John, and Sean, and here's Havenwick live in studio on the Scene on 88.1 The Park. Kick it off, guys.
Ready to die. We were both boys with not enough time. We lay in separate rooms, dreaming of all the ways to escape. 'Cause I know that we will meet again someday. catch you in the rye. All the nights we spend dreaming of the day, hoping we will make it out of the rain. Let's find a home for us and make do with our fate, 'cause I know that we will meet again someday. While you mess with girls and I mess with my own world, you're on my mind all of the time, wherever you lie. While you find yourself always at all your dead ends, we will all be fine. Give it some time and you will find that I'll catch you in the rye.
That's Havenwick from Read the Sun live here in the studio on the scene on 88.1 The Park. That's a catchy little number, as my dad might say.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, because now I don't have to have I've had the time of my life in my head all night. So thank you. It means a lot, guys. Thanks. Actually, it's cool to have Sean right next to me, because that bass line is like the secret weapon of the song. It's really good.
It's totally awesome. I think that it's the fact that having everybody like work on their own like really awesome parts is like just so awesome to all of us.
And I remember when we were first writing this song, Reese looked at me, he said, do something that the Smiths would do. And I was like, all right. And I just did that. And immediately after, and we were like, all right, that's good. Let's do that.
You did, though. Smith's a great underrated bass band, and as a bass player, when you're a bass player, you start to hear the bass in every song. And so it's good that you're drawing that influence. It's really good stuff, guys. Yeah. So we're going to have another song, because that was so good. I think we should do another one right now. So we're going to have Rockkeet.
All right.
Rockkeet.
Yep.
For those out there who need the spelling. And this is part one of the song, yeah? So does that mean that this is one of the longer epics from Read the Sun?
For right now, we have a little jam after it, but we're trying to reformulate it as it is now to make it a bit more structured jam.
The jam aspect is something that stands out. I'm glad you mentioned that, because you guys are one of the bands that can put jams into your live show and have it be interesting and captivating. Is that something you'll continue that, right? I mean, that's part of kind of who you guys are.
Absolutely. And I think that not just the part of having the jam, but like also having the part where it's extremely tight as all of us. Because like, especially in Delson Part 2, when we play that live, it's something that we have really connected for moments and then really loose at other moments. And it's just a great combination.
As a prog rocker, when I saw part one, I'm like, yes. Yeah, it's nice. That's good to see. So this would be Rockkeet, part one. Is there anything you want to tell us about this one, Reese?
So this one was actually just about learning that a friend of mine was that it's a bit how do I say this? Like I just learned that somebody close to me just took a lot of negativity from me, and I just couldn't handle knowing that. And so this is just like me getting that emotion out.
Excellent. Cool. Well, let's check it out. So here is live performance number 2 from Read the Sun. Here is Rockkeet, part 1, on the scene on 88.1 The Park.
Started more than a conversation. You became an overnight sensation. In my head, you were something more. To know you're hurting, I just couldn't watch. But to know it's all 'cause of me, I still have no words. Who are you to say I was only toxic when no one else could ever launch your rocket? So I leave knowing you're happy with the life I never know. But to think it's fine leaving me with knowing I could have ended you.
Rocky Part 1 from Read the Sun here live in the studio, confirming why they're one of our favorite new bands in the band. That's
Thank
really
you
good,
so
guys.
much.
Very, very good. I love the, I just like the chemistry between the three. It seems like everyone is kind of on the same page,
Oh, absolutely.
you know? I like the part writing too. It's cool because what John's doing on guitar is very different from what Reese is doing on guitar, and it's complementing each other. And then Sean's doing his thing on the bass, and we all know the great Joe Jankowski on the drums. You know, he's going to bring
Oh, yeah.
something great. Just a very musical project. I like it.
And I'd like to point out that Joe has such an important aspect in this band. Since I know that a lot of the time he gets tossed onto stuff, and yeah, we all know that.
He does.
And sometimes, and I think a lot of the time, he can just feel like it's that he's not like part of the writing, and we always want to have him be a huge part of what we write, and I think that's something that we like to pride ourselves in a little bit.
Just try to give everybody a voice.
Yeah, I just call him the hardest working man in show business because it seems like he's being asked to do just about everything.
Absolutely.
But with the different directions he's pulled in, he's obviously been very committed to this band, and that shows. I think that shows kind of how far you guys have come in a short time.
Yeah,
You know?
and I think that like over just like the past year, I think we've written quite a lot, and we've gotten to know each other to the point where we can come up with stuff on the spot, and that we're in such a like safe space to share our ideas.
Well, that sounds to me like what your influences bands might also say. So let's shift to that segment. You guys had chosen a song. Is This Is by The Strokes, and we're not going to play that one. But I want for the record to be that you chose The Strokes.
Oh yeah.
Because The Strokes are a great band.
Of course we would.
Yeah. But we are going to play your other influences song by Tame Impala, which I know is a band that, to me, it was a great choice for your influences in terms of kind of where you guys have borrowed some elements of your sound. Tell me how that choice came to be to choose this particular song. You chose The Less I Know, The Better.
Yeah. So I think each of the aspects of the song, the bass, guitar, other guitar, and drums, all have their own really unique kind of thing that goes on. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we like to focus on.
And one of my biggest inspirations as a bassist, especially for this band, is Kevin Parker and the way that he plays his bass. Like, this bass line in this song is so powerful, and I love it. And I love how powerful it is in the song, and I try to mirror that in our songs and Read the Sun.
Yeah, I think you do that. And it's cool that you chose a relatively recent band, but we've tossed around names like the Smiths and Brian Eno, and it's very clear that you guys, as music lovers, not just musicians, appreciate the past.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's come through in your sound. It is more of a vintage sound than anything. You couldn't compare it to many things that are coming out new. But how have you guys been able to discover such great sounds from the 70s and 80s? And who has allowed you to find out about those influences? I mean, Reese, not everyone your age can have a debate about their favorite Eno album. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know Hayden can, but
yeah, he can.
Otherwise.
He can. But it seems like you guys have gained an appreciation for just really important sounds from the past. Where did that come from?
Go ahead, John.
I'll shout out my grandpa. I grew up with my parents and my grandpa showing me music, essentially. So my parents, I was born in 2000. My parents were younger, so like stuff from the 90s and maybe late 80s. Pixies, Nirvana, Sublime. And then my grandpa was really into stuff like the Beatles. And then actually my third or fourth cousin is Bob Seger. It's my grandpa's last name. So he grew up around this musician. He kind of cultured that in me and got me playing guitar. I did summer camps at Dime, which is really where I learned a bunch about guitar. And he paid for me to do that, and I stayed with him during that. So
cool. And Reese, who has exposed you to good stuff?
Definitely my parents and my grandparents. Definitely my stepdad Dan. He plays in Bob Harvey, or played, and they were a 80s 90s ska reggae band. And he just has a massive collection of anything that you can find, and coming to him for all types of past music.
And an amazing musician himself. You hit the stepdad jackpot. Yeah, you did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Sean?
The person who showed me the most is definitely my brother. My brother's favorite bands are Radiohead and Nine Inch Nails, and that defines my music taste right there. Every single time I'd walk past this room, I'd always look at that Year Zero poster, and I'd be like, yes.
I agree. I'm here almost every day, and seeing that poster never gets old because I love Nine Inch Nails. I love that album. It's very cool that you guys are all music lovers. That's what I've noticed about all four of you in the band, and that comes out in the passion that you have for this project. So speaking of all of that, let's go to the influences segment. This is The Less I Know the Better by Read the Sun's Influence, Tame Impala, here on the scene on 88.1 The Park. Tame Impala with The Less I Know the Better here on the scene on 88.1 The Park. That is the influences segment for our in-studio guest, Read the Sun. They will be back in a little bit to do one more in-studio performance. Man, we have had a lot of fun with those guys tonight here on the show. But let's bring in Bill Keith, station manager for 88.1 The Park, and get into our little time machine that we always call the Scene Rewind, where we take a look at the past of PCEP bands. Bill, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
There is never a shortage of bands to choose from, but I know the one you chose from tonight is somebody who's pretty important to the local scene right now. Tell us about Band B.
Yeah, Band B released this album called Bent back in 2006. The singer and I think guitarist for the group is a guy named Chris Breest, who runs a studio in Plymouth. I think it's called Plymouth Rock.
Plymouth Rock Productions, yeah.
Yeah, and he graduated in the late 90s, somewhere around 98 or 99. And shortly in the early 2000s formed the band, and they were playing around the Detroit area and got a lot of notoriety. From what I read online, they even got some interest from a major record label, but passed on it, came back to Michigan, and purchased the church that became the Plymouth Rock Studios, and began recording this album, which they eventually released in 2006. And I just remember back when we were an indie rock station in the mid-2000s, we played this album quite a bit.
I kind of miss those days. Guys, this used to be an indie rock station. It was very cool. It's super cool now, but man, it was like a cool college rock station. Bill, have you ever seen Plymouth Rock Productions?
No, other than I've heard it's a really cool church building. It's an old village, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's an amazing place. It's a classic church, very high ceilings, and they've built multiple rooms as a studio there. And actually, through Reese's stepdad, Dan, we've just formed a partnership with them. They're going to record all the bands for our future 7-inch vinyls. So Plymouth Rock is now involved within the band. So Chris is a great guy. And
Yeah.
he was
very supportive of the station too. So
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, he's an important guy to the local scene. So great choice tonight, as always, Bill. So we're going to hear Digital Disease. This is from the album by Band B. What's the album called, Bill?
Bent.
Bent. So here is Band B and the Scene Rewind here on the Scene on 88.1 The Park. Our good friend Chris Breest and Band B with Digital Disease. That was the Scene Rewind here on 88.1 The Park. Reese, what'd you think of Band B?
I thought that was pretty interesting. I kind of really dug that.
For sure. It's definitely a great sounding.
Oh, yeah. Like,
song.
I think the production on that is pretty immaculate.
It was.
I really like all the mixed styles that are in that. And I really like that tremolo, vibrato, whatever guitar that was leading that.
It definitely sounds like a band with a guy who formed his own studio.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
Which, by the way, you will do one day because you have become the resident engineer producer of the local music scene around here.
Yep. And so far I've got Zoe Sturrett. I've got John of Read the Sun and Paper Crowns. Paper Crowns. AP Brass coming up soon. Sid West and a bunch of others.
Yeah.
Oh, and Read the Sun.
And don't forget the late Tasty Garden.
Oh, the late Tasty Garden.
Oh, that's right. Yes. May they rest in peace. Tasty Garden. Yeah. So Reese is like the ultimate guy in the scene. He's the songwriter. He's the singer. He's the guitarist. He's the writer. He's the engineer. So you got it all going. It is very valuable to know how to use. What do you use? Pro Tools?
I use a bit of Pro Tools and mostly Cubase.
It's very valuable. Yeah, you're gonna be in full demand. It'll be like Joe Jankowski, hardest working man in show business. So let's have one more song from you guys. This has been great having you play live here in the studio, and this is another two-parter. We're going to play the first part. So it's Delsym.
Yeah.
Delsym. This is the first time I've ever spelled out song titles, but I want people to know what they look like. Tell us about what we're about to hear, Reese.
So this was also just about a pretty dark point in my life and pretty much just coming out of feeling that way and finding myself in a much more happy situation than I was then.
Perfect. All right, well, let's do this. This will be the third and final in-studio performance. Here is Delsym Part 1 from Read the Sun here on the Scene on 88.1 The Park.
I had spent the summer dreaming of a life with you, even though you were so far away. I had spent the life dreaming of some way out, then I found what I got. What did I get? Nothing but wasted time. A bunch of empty Delsym. A summer I'll never get back. Now that I'm twice as tall and twice removed from it all, I'm much better than when I was on. I'm spending every night melting into the wall, and I adore you being gone. 'Cause what did I get? Nothing but wasted time. A bunch of empty Delsym. Summer I'll never get back. And what did you get? nothing but satisfaction. A bunch of people before me, a life you'll never have to lead.
Delsum Part 1 from Read the Sun. And Part 2 just goes into this epic jam, right?
Yeah, so
It
starts off mathy, then it gets into jammy, then it goes back to mathy, and then it goes to chill. A little psyche, oh yeah.
You are speaking my language, man. Absolutely love it. Can't wait to see you guys again. So let's continue with the Read the Sun theme. Zoe Stewart out there, you've remained very patient through the show. We're finally going to get to hearing a song from Zoe that we haven't played on the airwaves yet, but it's one of our favorites. And it's got Sean on bass, John on guitar, Reese doing the production. Are you playing any guitar too?
Not on that one.
But you
no.
recorded it.
Yeah.
So it's a very Read the Sun sort of night, but we are going to shift the attention to Zoe. This is a song that seems to always sort of bring the house down when she plays it live. It's certainly one of our favorites. And it's off of her brand new EP, which everybody should check out. Zoe, one of our favorite artists in the band, and we're happy to bring this to you tonight. So here is The Painter from Zoe Stewart on The Scene on 88.1 The Park.
We are the painters. This world is our canvas. Thoughts that we're made of. We conquer the madness. We are surrounded by wonderful things. Look past the darkness. See what this light brings. See what this light brings.
There's Zoe Stewart with The Painter here on the CNN 881 The Park. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It has been so much fun having Reese and John and Sean join us tonight. We missed Joe, but we had a blast, didn't we, guys?
Yeah, we did.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
you coming in. We appreciate all your support of In the Band and the fact that you guys have played our shows, and you guys have really been great ambassadors for the studio, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And we will we'll have to do this again.
Oh,
know?
absolutely.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
That'd be great. That'd be great. We definitely will. So I know you guys don't have any shows lined up right now, but we're going to get you into one before the end of the summer for sure at the studio. And the new album will be coming out relatively soon, right?
Oh, yeah. We're in the process of recording it right now, but hopefully sometime in August.
August.
Hopefully.
Perfect.
I'd say before college, it'd be great to have that out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really.
And we will definitely get you in for a show. And when we do, when that's scheduled, we'll make sure and promote that hard, because everyone should come check out Read the Sun live. As good as you were in the studio tonight, seeing you guys live is a great experience. So want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll be back in the last Thursday in July with more local music and more fun and more hilarity and more everything else that we do here on the scene on 88.1 The Park. Special thanks to Bill Keith for running the board. We're going to take you out tonight with Hilltop Drive, who played their first show in a while on June 16th. Man, were they good on the In the Band stage. Here is our favorite, Horizontal. Thanks for joining us tonight on the scene on 88.1 The Park.
I'm faded, dismayed, and everything is not how it should be. You drifted, I slipped, and now I don't know where we stand. She said I won't let this break unless we've tried everything. I had nothing left to say. She said I can't sit and wait while you contemplate. There was nothing left to say. Your apathy sorts everything. It starts to in a way it might not seem. Destroying everything it seems, including me. So you'll keep seeing the world through empty eyes. I hope you tell all of your friends how much I suck. She said I won't let this break unless we've tried everything. I had nothing left to say. She said I can't sit and wait while you contemplate. There was nothing left to say. I don't know why I'm feeling anything for you when I know that you're cyanide. Don't know why I can't come to promise. It's all in my mind. If you don't see a future before us, why even drag me along? I can't help it, I'm addicted, even when you drag me through the mud.
Hi, this is Arun Valley, PCEP graduate and guitarist for Saves the Day. And you're listening to The Scene, presented by In the Band on 88.1 The Park, Plymouth and Canton's hit music.